Welcome to this special episode titled A Living Constituent Assembly Demands a Dead Constitution. I myself, Manish Jaswal on BhJoYa Yatra Radio. Legislatures elected following a process based on the provisions of a pre-existing constitution cannot change the basic structural features of the same constitution. That is, Parliament formed of such legislatures, even in their 100% capacity, that is in absolute majority, can never assume itself the role of a constituent assembly required for these purposes. Even in the election stage, candidates who can dictate or announce in their public manifesto and meetings for doing such changes quite clearly in public, and they are selected by the process of the election based on the provisions of this pre-existing constitution. If they do so, they will contradict the very basis of their selection, because this selection, that is election processes, are based on the pre-existing provisions of the constitution that they are going to change in a very basic manner, are going to even go to the extent of repealing it. It is self-contradictory thing. In fact, formation of a constituent assembly demands a rare, unique historical socio-political circumstances. The hallmark of such circumstances is the complete absence of any sort of working, living, practical constitution running on the ground. If there is any sort of working constitution, for example, if there is a parliament and they are saying that the next elections will be held for a constituent assembly for changing the basic structure of the constitution, so that means it is a working constitution. So we are following the election process based on the provisions of the same constitution. So the circumstances are not unique or historical in sense. So the members who are claiming that they are going to form a constituent assembly are not right. Unique historical circumstances, socio-political conditions are met when there is no constitution whatsoever. Constitution is dead, and people are aggregating to form it, are actually experiencing that situation or environment in their homeland or the country in the form of a revolution, in the form of religious bigotry, communalization, some sections of the populace dictating others forcibly and forming a constituent assembly, or even a wish of the people, a genuine democratic wish, but that wish is itself is free of the mindsets of the pre-existing constitution. Meanwhile, the administration of the country or the homeland may be run according to some similar provisions of the dead constitution, but this administrative process can't claim any sort of legitimacy from this pre-existing constitution. It is you can say a similar thing, temporary provisions based, and has its life only when a constituent assembly is living, and it is merely some sort of orders of our powerful constituent assembly. A living constituent assembly give birth a fresh constitution, and when constitution is born, constituent assembly become completely dead. Original constituent assembly can never be recalled by the existing constitution. Views expressed my are in personal nature. In fact, these views are expressed in part in my earlier post of Samvidhan Sabha published on Facebook months earlier. Viewers, listeners, interested friends may develop a more concrete and more acceptable theoretical foundations of the same by listening the ongoing hearings being conducted before the Honorable Constitution Bench led by Chief Justice of India Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud Saab. One may start by following the opening submission of renowned senior-most lawyer Mr. Kapil Sibbal, where we can see a difference between a political act or process when there is no constitution and the act of the parliament bounded under the provisions of an existing constitution. But this is only a half story. A more powerful counter views may be seen in the next week of the hearings when other part of the submissions, that is counter views, will be heard before the court. We can also follow a Satya Hindi program by Mr. Mukesh Kumar and can listen Senior Advocate Firdos Mirza Saab, Dr. Rakesh Pathak and Dr. Lakshman Yadav ji on the same issue. Thanking you once again. Thanks.